Hi, welcome to What's the Word? I'm your host, Jaime McFaden, and I'm so excited to have you here. This podcast is about all things wellness. Each week, we will focus on a word of the day, and I interview some of the most inspirational people I know and share that inspiration with you. Join me, let's learn together on What's the Word.
This is the place where I belong.
Hi, and welcome to What's the Word? I'm your host, Jaime McFaden, and this podcast is about all things wellness. Each week, we focus on a word of the day and give some tips on how you can utilize that word to help change your life for the better. To kick it off today, our word is tenacity, which is the quality or fact of being very determined. If you think of determination, you think about tenacity, and today I'm interviewing my guest today is real estate agent in Los Angeles, badass mama bear, performer, and Greek goddess Tea Asimos. Did I say your name right? Did I say your name right?
Well, you know what? That's my maiden name, but because we're Greek sisters, I love that you called me Asimos. I'm like, oh, I haven't heard that name in so long. My married name's DeCarlo, but Jamie knows, but Jamie's known me for so long that like she knows me as the Greek goddess badass. And like Asimos is short for Asimakopoulos. So in case you were wondering how Greek, it's that Greek. And I married an Italian, which as my papu says is, it's like the same.
Una facha, una racha.
That's right.
Same face, same race, something like that. Whatever it is. But anyways, my papu used to say the same thing. So for sure. Well, anyways, thank you so much for being on today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm having an emotional.
Babe.
Thank you. My son, my youngest, I have two kids. I have two boys, one that's 6 years old and another one that's just turned 4 today. And for those of you moms out there, birthdays are emotional. They're like, you start thinking about how you were the day that you gave birth, however that turned out for you. And it's, you just go through all the memories. So I've just had some happy tears today.
Oh, well, thank you for taking time out of this beautiful day to share with us and be here with us. And that segues right into, you chose the word of the day, tenacity. You are a super busy, super mama entrepreneur. I've known you through the years, seeing so many different things. You've consistently always inspired me. So can you tell us, why did you pick that word and what does it mean to you?
I picked the word tenacity, and I actually have it on one of those. Have you ever seen the giving keys?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of those? I have a giving key that says tenacity on it because I really feel, and I live by this word, that it doesn't matter how many times you fall down. It only matters how many times you get up.
Yeah.
And, if you're an optimistic person like me, just because you're optimistic doesn't mean shit doesn't go down.
Right.
It doesn't mean that bad things don't happen. It doesn't mean that sad things don't happen. It just means that you look at your life through a lens of, I get to, dictate what the outcome is. Right. So, and I can only control what I can control. So if something's not going my way, well, then I'm going to evaluate it. I'm going to see how I can improve on it and then move in a different direction the next time around and just continue to get up. And so that's why I think that I finally feel like I'm truly successful because I just keep getting up.
Okay, so now you brought on something that I'm like, ooh, I know everybody would want to hear this. So let's talk about success. And what does success mean to you?
Success means to me that you're happy, right? That you're happy, that the old adage of like health is wealth. Like if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And that includes mental health as well. And I do believe that money does not solve problems, but it sure as hell gives you some options.
Mm-hmm.
And it especially for women, I feel like it empowers you to help others and to inspire other people when you are successful in the world that we live in, and you are finally getting fruits of your labor, right? Because we have to survive. And for the longest time, whether it was like being a TV host or, going after the acting career and then finally pursuing real estate full time, like I have been for the last 8 years. Do you remember the movie Field of Dreams?
Yes.
Right? Like if you build it, they will come. Like I had that in my office, like when my bank account was negative, when I was literally asking my husband, like, hey, like, can we like transfer some money? I have some overdraft fees. Like and asking my parents when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, like, hey, like things are really hard right now. And just continuing to put in the work and believing that it's going to turn out and then just pursue. And then finally today, it's like, I'm finally at a point in my career where I'm like, oh my God, I have the freedom to hire a personal trainer, to help my mom if I need to help my dad if I need to. We can go to Palm Springs and take a little staycation. Whereas before it's like, you know what I mean? Like that to me, I feel like I'm successful in my life right now because I'm finally seeing those fruits and I'm choosing to better myself and better my family.
Absolutely.
With that opportunity.
And truthfully, to me, knowing you, you've always inspired me, and I know you know that. And for anyone that's listening right now that doesn't know you, Taya is a perfect example of when we think about success, we all have the opportunity to define our own success. And like I said, you have always inspired me, even from the days of when you were hosting, and being on TV. And maybe to you at that time, and I want people to think about this, is sometimes, most times, or all the times, we can be our harshest critic, right? Where somebody might look at us from the outside and go, wow, like, you have it all together, or you have success and this and that. And the reality is we could sit here to ourselves and say, well, no, because of A, B, or C. And what's been so amazing that I've watched throughout the years with you is that tenacity is such a perfect word for you, because you have proven that it doesn't have to be this one way, even if you set out to have this career being an actor, right? But now here you are, a successful real estate agent in Los Angeles, in one of the hustling, bustling, busiest, hardest places to make it. And yet, guess what? To anyone that's listening, I see Taya posting videos online. Like every day you have something new coming out. So it seems like you've learned how to mesh your passion with this purpose and put it together. And that to me is something for everybody to be inspired by. So can you share kind of how you came to that? Like what inspired you to do that?
Well, it's funny. I think that when I first moved to Los Angeles, I had the aspirations of being on camera and when you get a taste of some success, you peek around and you either say, wow, this is everything I thought it was going to be and more, or you look around and you go, this shit's overrated.
Right.
Right. And so I feel like getting a chance to be on camera and to experience that, I ended up kind of looking inside a little bit and going, you know what, I think I want to stay here where I am and not be willing to travel all over the world and just be with my, who's now my husband, right? He was my boyfriend at the time. And say, you know what?
I know, sorry, Vinny, that I just totally say your last name, but I love him. He's amazing.
Oh, that's amazing. I love it. But you know what? I think that for me, I did resist. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I felt like I was giving up a little bit when things weren't really going my way with the on-camera stuff. But I had my real estate license. And so I had the opportunity right then and there to go, okay, I have choices. I'm not stuck. I have a choice. And whoever said that your career has to be your passion, right? We have to survive. You can have a job and still have your passion. In fact, studies have been shown that like once your passion becomes your job, it's not as passionate anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? That if it becomes work.
Right. Well, that's why I think discipline can become freedom. So that's like put the work in, and then the freedom you can find that freedom.
Absolutely. And so I feel that for me, once I actually doubled down and said, okay, real estate's going to be it for me. I'm going to give it 110%. I'm not going to half-ass it. And I'm going to apply my strengths to this career choice. And so then that way I can have more fun. Like I was one of the only real estate agents 5 years ago using Instagram full time and Facebook to better my real estate business. And meanwhile, in the beginning, the old dog realtors, especially the men, were like, that's cute. Social media is cute. Good for you. How does that equal money in my bank account? And I just remember looking at them going, you know what? You guys are going to be like turning your heads one day.
How to do it later. Yeah.
Well, and now what's so funny is as soon as COVID hit in March, all of a sudden everybody had to pivot. Right. And I had already built the infrastructure where I was like, I'm going to be on camera more. I'm going to let people get to know me. And if I truly believe that my vibe attracts my tribe, then I'm just going to be the authentic me. I'm not going to pretend to be someone else. I'm going to show them who Taya really is. And if you think I'm annoying, fuck off, like go work with somebody else. But if you like me, then you're going to trust me. And if you trust me, you're going to want to do business with me. And then I get to work with people I actually like. Right. Like what a concept. And now my business has literally tripled over the last 3 years. It's insane. And I'm having more fun. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and you're still using that performance element. I feel like, I mean, all the videos I see of you, like I saw one recently where you were supposed to go to Greece and you didn't get to go to Greece. So your friends sent you these, Greek posters and Greek things, and you played Greek music, and you're like, oh, yeah, soutikanis, and doing this whole Greek, skit. But it was so great because you really are allowing people to get to know you instead of just playing this character role, which we all know, anyone in the entertainment field, that's, what it ends up becoming. So now when it comes to tenacity, for anyone that's listening right now, do you have any tips that you can share with someone that, okay, maybe someone's listening, going or watching, saying, okay, I'm in this transition right now. I'm trying to pivot. I feel like I'm hitting my head against a wall. Like, what do I do? How do you have that tenacity? How do you gain that tenacity?
I would say first and foremost, don't be afraid to ask for help, right? If you have the opportunity to talk to, I'm a believer in therapy, like if you have access to therapy, or even a friend to listen, to be honest with your feelings and to feel your feelings. I think so many times we think that we have to fake it until we make it, and it's just not true. Right. I actually think it's and maybe this is a Greek thing to feel the emotions, let it all out. Let it all out, be explosive, feel it, and then move on. And I feel like anytime that I have, and I'll give you an example, in 2015, I suffered a very traumatic second trimester loss. And then 30 days after that, my cousin passed away. And then 30 days after that, I lost somebody else to a drug overdose that I knew very well. And it was like one after the other, getting knocked down, knocked down, knocked down. And you can't help but for a minute be like, I'm getting chills even talking about it. You can't help for a minute just going, why is this happening to me? And why is life so hard? And is this ever going to get better? And drinking wine every single night and trying to numb my feelings until finally, 5 months after my loss or 4 months after my loss, I had this big emotional breakdown where I looked around and I was like, you know what? I'm tired of feeling sorry for myself. And this is not me. I don't recognize myself. I'm a happy, upbeat person. I don't like having the rain cloud around me. I need to get into action. And so for me, even though I went to grief counseling and I reached out for help, and I kind of I think you have to give yourself some grace. There's no right way of processing emotion, right? There's no wrong way, I should say. There's no wrong way of processing emotion. So whether you're going to cry or hit a pillow or go exercise or whatever, I think for me, I finally hit that tipping point where I was like, I'm going to get into action. I started exercising and I healed myself from the outside in until finally I recognized myself again. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm back, baby. Yeah. And at that point, you look back retrospectively and you go, look how far I've come. Yeah. I think anyone who's going through a transitional time right now needs to take a bird's eye view, do a guided meditation where you close your eyes and you go, you know what? Let's acknowledge the small wins.
Yeah, totally. Because I think it is so true. And in talking about tenacity and, anyone that's listening right now and watching, it's like, we all go through tough times. That's a guarantee with living this life. And it's so much a testament, going back to the beginning of what you said, it's all about how many times you really do get back up and how many times you do keep going. Because the fact that we're here right now in this moment doing this podcast, talking about success, I remember sitting with you however many years ago that was, at that pool, talking about
12 years ago,
right?
Something.
Yeah. Thinking about, way before children or way before, it's like thinking about all these other things and look at, so the only time I always tell people, the only time to really look back is when you want to look at how far you've come and what 100%. you've been through, and you're still here. So now on that note, I do want to ask you, do you have anything that we can share that you're working on right now? Or if somebody is looking for maybe property, or what can we promote for you right now? What's happening?
I would say follow me on Instagram. I love interacting with people. And I think that I will say 50% of the people who follow me, and I have 6,000 followers, which I've never bought any followers. People just, it's really wild to me. Social media is really interesting in that sense. And half of those people that follow me are real estate agents. But I think no matter what business you're in, entrepreneurs, anybody starting their own business, I think if you like it, lift it. Right. So if you like what I'm doing, think of something for yourself. I do a weekly show called Taya's 2 Cents, where I've committed to every single week putting out information that I think can benefit and educate people about home ownership and about making money through real estate. And so I think that if anybody wants to follow me there, and and get some tips on like building your business via social media, I will say like a third of my business now comes from social, which is like bizarre. I mean, $4 million worth of business this month came from, actually $5.5 million came from Instagram, whether it be a person who contacted me, who met me once in person and then said, hey, I've been following you for a year, I'm ready to sell, or another realtor up in Berkeley. She follows me on Instagram and she called me one day. She goes, do you cover this part of LA? And I was like, yeah, I do. She's like, great. I'm going to hook you up with my clients.
Wow. Yeah. So that, I mean, and that is where the social network, because I see it, myself as well. So for anyone that's on right now, go check out. And what is your Instagram? So
Taya, TAYADICARLO. So at Taya DiCarlo.
Taya DiCarlo, of course. Okay. I love that I just decided I'm going with your Greek name. I'm going with your maiden name. I love it. So now we're going to do something while we wrap this up. It's a quick round. Okay. So first thing that comes to mind, pizza or tacos?
Tacos.
Least favorite exercise?
Burpees.
Go-to karaoke song?
Oh my God. Oh, Chain of Fools.
Love it. And by the way, I have to throw in there, I know it's the quick round and we're just about done, but for anyone that just decides to Google her maiden name, you will find that, what was the show that you won?
Don't Forget the Lyrics with Wayne Brady.
Yeah. And she won because
I won $50,000.
She won $50,000 and she remembers every lyric. That's amazing. It's
a weird party trick that finally paid off after all those years.
That's so great. Okay. Anything you're afraid of?
Oh, I'm afraid of heights, I guess.
Okay. No skydiving for you?
Oh, fuck no. Sorry, can we drop the F-bomb?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
If I could have a superpower, what would it be? It would be, oh my God, to fly.
Fly. Okay.
Even though I'm afraid of heights, like I would love.
I love it.
But I think if I could fly, I wouldn't be afraid of heights.
I definitely don't. I think concur. You would not be afraid of heights. And then last but not least, do you have a fun celebrity moment that you can share with us?
Oh, well, since we've talked so much about Greek things, I could tell you about how when I met John Stamos.
Oh God.
I was at a pool party in Hollywood, and I was working with my old boss at this like famous person's house, and he happened to be there at this pool party, and I was so starstruck, and she was like, go ahead, go talk to him. And I said, no, I absolutely can't. And so she dragged me over there and she's like, John. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah, my name's Taya and I'm Greek. Oh my God. But he's a lot smaller in person and very petite. So I would say like, it kind of lost its, luster a little bit. I couldn't believe how tiny he was. I
do feel like that's a lot of times in Hollywood that I found, and also with just Greeks in general. Greeks, I think smaller than most people. I'm just gonna, and you know what? Yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that. So here's the deal, everybody. Tenacity. Tenacity is the word of the day. Taya, thank you so much for taking time and sharing this inspiration with us. You are amazing, incredible, and I love you. I love being a part of your life and your world and seeing how everything has been evolving and how it continues to grow. So please, everyone, make sure you follow Taya DiCarlo, right? Did I say it right this time?
It's true. And by the way, the feeling's mutual, girlfriend. I am so proud of you, and I love that we've stayed friends and connected all of these years.
Well, me too, and I look forward to much more. So, mwah. Saga po poli. Thank you for joining me here at What's the Word. Follow us on social media with the links on the screen, and don't forget to like and share with your friend. Your support helps us grow and continue to make inspirational content. See you next time on What's the Word.